New Adeptus Titanicus is here.
Spiking bits.
If you love Tiny Titans for tiny glory, well, our time is here again. Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer from SpikyBits.com, and this week sees the release of lots of new Titanicus releases, and I'm sure more will be previewed at the Horus Heresy Weekender coming up in about 2 short weeks, maybe 1 week. I don't know. I gotta look at the catalog or the calendar soon, very soon. So coming in this week is the Reaver Battle Titan with Melta Cannon and Chain Fist. This is going for $60 US. GW also said there would be a upgrade sprue available separately. No word on that. The Titandeath expansion, $35 US hardcover book. 3 sets of decals, which I don't have because, well, I didn't order them, but they're $18 each. They are Legio Volpa, Krytos, and Solaria transfer sheets. And last but certainly not least, the $42 Warlord upgrade sprue to transform your basic Warlord with Volcano Cannon into the new and improved Warlord with new faceplate, new plasma annihilators, new top Titan blaster weapons in, I don't know, or you could just buy the $110 kit, but then you can't go backwards because there's no Volcano Cannon upgrade sprue. Womp womp. So GW giveth and GW taketh, I guess. I don't know. $42. The decals in this are available via direct order, but we'll show you how to magnetize them. We'll go over putting the new upgrades for the Reaver Battle Titan together and talk about a few things out of Titandeath, but I don't want to spend too much time because they've already been reviewed out there, in my opinion, poorly by folks that may or may not actually play the game, and I'll just leave it at that. and we'll get out of here. So kicking off this robot party is the Reaver Battle Titan with new Chain Fist, Volcano Cannon, Melta, and also the top Turbo Laser Destructor off the Warlord, or the Warhound Titan there. So these weapons actually have been redesigned for the Reaver Titan, the full scale one, 40K scale we'll call it, from Forge World. Also, this is an existing piece. I'm not sure if this has been redesigned, but this was offered at one point. This, to the best of my knowledge, Turbo Laser Destructor has never been offered separately. I think it came as part of a terrain piece, one of those squares, but I don't think it was ever available separately, unfortunately. So it's going to come with your standard Reaver configuration of 3 sprues, one of them being a weapon sprue, which we know is the new one right here in the middle. Your 105 oval, I believe it is, some normal decals, same sheet as before, and the instruction booklet. Now, since we're not going to show you how the actual Reaver itself, we've already shown you how to magnetize this bad boy in a previous video. I'll try to remember to link it below, but if not, you can search through our galleries here. But this is basically how it goes together. Remember to keep your armor plates off so you can paint them separately. It definitely helps out a lot. I'm going to show you where we're at with painting our Legio. We picked Storm a while ago, mostly because full-scale Titans are blue and gold, so that worked out. Blue and yellow, but there you can see all the parts. Now getting to the new stuff here, you can see that the armor plates on the Turbo Laser Destructor are separate, so I'm definitely going to keep those off myself, I can already tell. And same with the Volcano Cannon, the armor plates right there. Standard interface lock right here, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work to magnetize that, no big deal. I don't think we're actually going to have to use a drill bit here. Melta Cannon looks like the new design. I'm going to glue all that together. And then over here to the fist. The fist looks like standard configuration, so you can adjust it left or right. Now, something I noticed right off the bat right here is that you've got 2 different parts, and we're going to look at it on the sprue, but D40, and there's probably another one that has, and I didn't realize this when I was putting the first Reaver together, but you don't have to use this wire if you don't want to lock it into the pose that it comes with. It actually comes with a separate like capped wire interface that they don't actually talk about on the instructions, which is kind of why I missed it the first time when I assembled mine. But we're not going to make that mistake twice, because you got to magnetize your stuff, in my opinion, to future-proof it against FAQs and edition changes. Otherwise, you're really kind of doing yourself a disservice when it comes to the price of these kits. But that's just my position on it. Magnets are actually pretty easy. You need 5mm by 1mm rounds. N52 seems to be the best polarity. Magnet Baron sells a lot of them really cheap. I think cheaper than Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. I have a little grip of them right here. I haven't I haven't even been through my first 100 yet from my own Legion, so I'm down to about 50 of these things right here. So we got a good grip of them. And then you can see here how everything goes together. There's different face plates, and it's going to be a standard configuration, but we'll show you exactly how it's going to look. I wouldn't worry about those nubs right there. I would do your own thing. Okay, so sprue-wise, looks like it is going to come with the separate arms, but if you followed our guide on the normal Reaver, you've already magnetized these parts right here, so you don't have to worry about that. The only thing you're probably going to want to have to cut and magnetize is the top of the close combat weapon right there. And there's that piece I was talking about, this mystery piece that you can actually put on the chain fist so it doesn't have to use the wires and things like that. And then you got a couple of different two optional face plates right here, which look really cool and really detailed. I'm not sure if I'll get to those. And this actually looks like you can pose it. Yeah, because it slots in, I don't think you have to assemble it. You can assemble this, and then you can put this either way, it looks like, on here. Or wait. Yeah, it's both around, so I don't think it matters which side, right or left, because I've seen on the artwork, the instructions say right-handed, but the artwork or the box art shows left-handed. So kind of interesting. So I think it is universal and modular right there. So we'll just assemble it as the rule book and see what happens. Okay, rewind that. Obviously, I meant instruction manual. So we spent a little bit of time. Here's our Reaver right here. Forgive the nakedness of it. We are in the process of painting it up. I'm gonna have to hand paint the yellow on the back here and then do some airbrush fades, but the rest of the steel will definitely stick. So in our guide, we've used the 5x1 magnets right here already, and those are all good to go. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at the weapons. So first up is going to be the chain fist. Like I said, I assembled it like the instructions. This is modular. It can go on either side. Just make a little notch, get your saw out, bone saw, and it's about, I guess it's about 1/8 of an inch like it was before. And you can actually pose this. I don't think it's super glued down. You can notch it left or right, and then just check your polarities, and boom goes the dynamite. It looks great. And you can, of course, if you want it to go on the other arm, you definitely can. The top dorsal turbo lasers gonna go on there just fine. I forgot to drill out the barrels right there, so I'll get a little thumbtack, make a pilot hole, and drill those out probably with a 1/16 inch bit right there. Ooh, my tag came up. And so there's that, and that switches out with the Apocalypse missile launchers that have the 360 art but less shots, which I'm okay with. And then you can kind of choose, you just put your magnet right on there. Here's the melta cannon, and that can go on whichever side you want. And next up is, I'll have to switch back to arms. And the reason we did this is I didn't know that the new upgrade sprue would come with its own arms right here, so I just figured, hey, you know what, we just magnetized that, and it worked out. It actually worked out in our favor, because now we have to do less work. If you're gonna put them on an existing one, if you actually get the upgrade sprue, I guess that kind of remains to be seen if they're gonna do one. And the last thing I want to show you is that little nub right there, so you don't have to lock in and do the power cables, which will be set and socket into right there like these. This was the first one we did, when I didn't realize that this actually, you didn't need to do that. You could actually do the same thing with the first Reaver, but oh well, it happens. Now we've got some extra weapons to go with our Reaver. So there's the new Reaver Titan. Let's take a look at the Warlord. Still very much a work in progress here, but we've got the metals laid down. We got a lot of our blues laid down. We're working on all the armor plates. And of course, we'll have to do that Joker style plasma glow, but that day is not today. Today, we're talking about the new upgrade sprue. So you get 2 of these on the upgrade sprue. It's very easy to magnetize. You will have to actually drill those out and put your 5.5 or your 5mm by 1mm magnet into it. Now I need to scrape actually the paint off of there so it actually sticks pretty well. And then the blasters on the top, same deal. They actually have a socket. So just, check your polarities and you should be good to go right there. And then when it comes to the fist, we did the same thing this time. We weren't stupid, and we remembered, hey, you can just put the little coupler right there, and it worked out swimmingly. Actually, we didn't use the claws. We just kind of did the open-handed fist, and boom, everything is good to go and looks pretty tight. So hopefully we'll have our Legio all painted up here, but you can see it's definitely starting to come together with the colors. But we have a lot more armor plates to finish up, and we got some shortcuts on the trim that, all right, fine, I'll spoil it. Booyah, there you go, Sharpie Tech. Yeah, seriously, Sharpies are the way to go when it comes to this stuff. You will have to match some of the paint to do it with a brush, but very, very little of it. And here, I'll just drop the bomb right here because it's just us in here, and I know you'd like to hear about Titans from me. But Balthasar Gold matches this 100%. Thank you, Still One More Name. And we found out that Lead Belcher matches this 100% right here. So this color for our blues, this color for our yellows, and we're going to two-tone it out hopefully in the near future, and we'll get to that. And we'll probably do a video on it and do some other things and do the burnouts and show you kind of some of the finished products and things here in the future. So be on the lookout for all of that. Let's talk about some rules. All right, Titandeath is coming in hot. We got lots of new rules in here, campaign rules, all sorts of things. It's a great little looking book. I'm a little personally disappointed in Games Workshop because in their live stream they said it was going to be a black book style offering similar to the Horus Heresy. However, that turned out to not be the case. Thank you, GW, getting my hopes up like that. I love me some Titanicus. Don't go breaking my heart, building me up like that just to let me down. Just to let me down. So we've got the contents right here. It's about a 100-page book, give or take. It's got rules for hostile environments, which are really interesting. The list of all the appendices of Renegade and Loyalist forces in the back. Playing a campaign didn't really dive too much into that. Narrative missions, but I think more importantly, we got 4 new maniples in here, 8 sets of Legio rules, which kind of there isn't any like true rhyme or reason to the amount of rules you're getting, except for you're going to get 1 set of Warlord traits and some sort of set of Legion traits as well, and they're kind of mixed in here sporadic, and they give the whole like history of the war, Beta Garmin. I don't know if there's any spoilers or anything in here. I'm only about halfway through the Titandeath book, but hopefully there isn't. I didn't see any of the specific chapters named quite yet, but again, haven't read through it all, and well, that's all I know so far. So the way they laid it out for the rules is there's the personal traits. I call them Warlord traits, but everyone has 3 of these that you can pick or just kind of roll on the dice, whatever. Some of them have specific Legion traits. Some of them have 2 Legion traits. Some of them have 2 Legion stratagems. Some of them have 1 Legion stratagem. Some of them have Legion war gear, like camo cloaks. And I think the other thing was like the rotating, I don't know, leg things or extra leg armor or something like that. But it's all laid out very nice. You just kind of have to stop, and it's hard to tell what the sections are, but you got Legio Defensor, named after one of my favorite Transformer combiners, I hope, maybe, fingers crossed. Legio Atreus, the Firebrands. And like I said, it all varies like what things you specifically get here. And a nice little bookmark. This seems like it would be easy to paint. I would love a print like this. GW, give me this poster, put it on White Dwarf. I'll buy like all the issues. Legio Solaria. And then we've got Legio Mortis. A very, very... Legio Mortis was a bad legion. And then Legio Krytos. Godbreakers, they seem interesting to paint. Little eggshell motif right there. Legio Furians, the tiger eyes, high gothic, low gothic, whatever. Legio Volpa, Deathstalkers is the common name. Of course, you can pause all this and see it. Then we get to the maniples, and I love me some maniples. So first off, we got the Corsair battle line. This is a standard of 3 Reavers or 2 Reaver Titans. Sorry I didn't get to, I mean, like I said, people have already showed you a lot of this. They didn't necessarily show you the maniples, and some of the folks that did show you the maniples, well, or didn't show them, just kind of read them, and it may or may not have made sense what they said. This one's kind of cool because they don't suffer the penalty for moving outside of their forward arc. So there's no restriction to the having of the sidestepping and things like that, which could be pretty cool. Titans may not use their boosted speed when moving out of their front out of the Artside arc, which kind of makes sense. Then you got the Janissary Maniple, Battle Line Maniple here. 1 Reaver, 2 Warlords, optional of 1 Reaver, 1 Warlord, close support. They coordinate their actions with household support units. So when you activate one of these during the movement phase, you can choose a Knight banner within 6. Once the Titan has finished its movement, then the chosen Knight banner may now make its activation. So if a Titan in this maniple, it looks like you can do it multiple times, and I think the only reason to do this would be to kind of skirt them around, but perhaps depending on what order they have, you could activate maybe and do a melta or something to try to get an attack and lower a void, or kind of coordinate in that wolf pack kind of fashion. I haven't really thought this through, and that may not be correct, but that's just, you know, gluten-free gut check tactics right there. Then we've got the Regia Maniple, Battle Line Maniple, 2 Warlords, 1 Warhound, and optional of 2 Warhounds. Oh, this is the King and Queen one, so this is interesting. So you got a King and Queen Warlord, and if they're within 12 of each other, one successfully gains an order, the other may gain the same order without the need to pass a command check. So obviously one of these is probably going to want to be your Signoris, so you're going to pass that on the good roll, and then kick it over to your counterpart, and they would just get it automatically. So you do that first, so hopefully you don't fail. But then the stratagems and different things you can take, you know, on the tabletop to make sure that you at least get to cast one. I mean, yeah, I don't have to tell you this because you already know all these things. But there are options out there, even if you air quotes fail. What's also cool about this is the Warlords don't have to be base to base to do their little Void Shield trick, which I think is pretty neat. And it also extends to the King or Queen if they're within 3 inches of them. And not in the base-to-base contact. So that's kind of a huge thing because templates won't be targeting them quite as much. But also the fact that now the Warlords can bear the burden for any shots to the Warhounds, and vice versa. You can kind of use the Warhounds as ablative kind of void shields if you really want to. I don't know what tactics that lends to right off the top of my head. Maybe running really fast, trying to get up in their grills with like the Melta, or maybe the plasma and the blasters, and maybe some close combat. I'd have to kind of think it through, but I'm sure there's a combo here, and it might be really funsies. But that's just, you know, spitballing it here. Then we got the Lupercal Maniple of all Warhounds, which are really interesting. And I think this one may see the second most play out of all of these. So they got the hunting pack thing, and whenever they are any of the ones that are in this maniple, so you have 3 compulsory, 2 optional, they can be formed into a squadron at the beginning of each round. You can form Voltron or or just they go back into however they are, and that squad of Voltron lasts until the end of the turn, or the end of the round, excuse me. In addition, when making coordinated strikes, Warhounds in this maniple add +2 to the armor rolls instead of +1, which doesn't seem like a ridiculous thing at first, unless you are getting those dope called shots, right? And you, of course, you know, depending on the range you're at, you're, you know, neg1 or neg2 on your call shot. But if you're going up against something that's potentially already crippled or hurting, and then you get a +2. A +2 is a game changer, even if you're hitting with the Titan Blaster or something like that, or the Turbo Laser rather. It's not going to do a whole lot with the Gatler. I think you could use the Gatlers to drop the Void Shields, and then your Turbo Lasers to kind of kill shot stuff right there. But +2 to the armor roll could literally kill you in the right hyper lethal trajectory combination. Could take down a Warlord with 1 Warhound, and I think that's pretty neat. And this might not be the strategy for everyone, but there's definite play here for sure. Oh wait, we skipped one. So what was the one? Oh, I guess that was the Regina one I was thinking of. Yeah, I guess it was the Regina one that will probably see the most play. That seems pretty fun once you kind of realize the dirty tricks you can do with the ablative part of the Void Shield. So those are my picks there. A couple of new missions, whatever. You got this card you can kind of print out for your campaigns, which is neat. And I really don't know a whole lot about the rest of it. Oh, here's the banners: Loyalist Night Houses, Traitor Night Houses at Beta Garmin, and map campaigns. And I think that's about it. So lots and lots of new content. Oh, the hostile battlefields right here as well. So lots and lots of new content for $35. Obviously a must-have if you're a Titanicus fan. If you're not playing 2,000 points by this point, with stratagems, with objectives, and now with the new Legios, which are going to dish out even more stratagems for your opponent, maybe back to you as well, and then check the Legios because there's some special rules about extra or minus stratagems and things, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, I feel like. This is a great game. Some other reviewers may have poo-pooed it as too complicated. I personally don't think that's the case because scoreboard, how many FAQs for Adeptus Titanicus do we have? The answer currently is 0 because it may quite possibly be the best game from Games Workshop you're not playing right now. And that's it for this one, y'all. Obviously, I'm very passionate about Tiny Titans for Tiny Glory. I love this game. Can't say enough good things about it. It's 7th edition 40K with resource management and a little tweak to the movement, but it's nothing that complicated in my opinion. Definitely grab a Titan or 5 and have some fun on the tabletop. The narrative is great. It just takes a little while to get these guys painted up. There's lots of trim. But hey, you could definitely play Death's Heads and paint them all black and a little gold trim. That's probably the easiest way to get you guys painted up and on the tabletop as quick as possible. So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for listening to my rant. Obviously, like I said, I'm very passionate about this game. I think it's a very good game. So at least do a demo, check it out, do your due diligence, or, you know, whatever, don't. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, and so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our hobby and product review videos.
Spiking bits.